I've heard about what happened to you during Mondstadt's crisis. When you came, this place was known as Storm Terror's Lair. But I suppose that this place is more lair than Storm Terror at this point. In fact, if my memory serves, this ruin has had largely nothing to do with that dragon for a long time. The first time I laid eyes upon the ruins of Old Mondstadt, the Dragon of the East had yet to fall, much less come to nest in this place.
Huh? But Paimon remembers that Dvalin first got in trouble hundreds of years ago.
Don't think too much about it. Do you remember the light actuators that once sealed this ruin? If the Abyss Order is interested in this location, then they will not neglect those mechanisms. Let's go see what the situation is at those light actuators.
Look! There are lots of monsters gathered over there.
You're in for a little shock.
Go Baron Bunny!
Surrender and I'll be gentle.
Oh no, I'm gonna ruin my gloves.
Get here!
What's the dodge this?
Not so hard! That's cheating!
No one escapes my sights! So in the end, we still couldn't...
I wouldn't call not having to gaze upon such a creature a shame.
No, you're right. If it's a really powerful monster, it would be best to go around it.
How good it would be if all perils one encounters in their journeys could simply be solved by going around. Once upon a time, yes.
You know, Dane, you keep talking about that. Where are they?
She no longer travel. I'm afraid that traveling can be...
Oh, is that how it is?
I still have some things left unfinished.
Yep! Hey, once you find your sibling, we should find a place to stay too. Mondstadt's Fisherman's Toast is pretty... either way, we should settle down in a place...
Home. Well, it won't be too late to think about. While you're still traveling, you should...
Huh? What's familiar?
A familiar feeling, you say? It could be someone you know well. Or whichever it is, we should see it for ourselves. And we can reach the top of that cliff from over there. Let's go.
Whoa, Dane moves really fast, doesn't he? Let's use that wind current nearby to catch up. Bet you can't keep up with me.
Can you still sense that familiar feeling that you spoke of earlier?
But it doesn't feel like there's anything around here.
Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything strange about this place. It doesn't look any different from the last time I was... My traveling companion brought me here on our previous journey.
So, Dane, what about you?
Me? I merely followed my traveling companion around on that journey. That's all there was to it. Huh? A ruin guard's footprint. A ruin guard was wandering around here? No peace to be found, even for a single dandelion.
What's gotten into you? You were just spacing out. Huh? But how could that be? You only touched that dandelion for...
Perhaps that dandelion bears some sort of scent. As for why, is it perhaps...
You're saying some real confusing stuff.
Do not rush. Vexation and anxiety are the enemy of rational thought. At least you now know that she is still on... At this time, the most important thing is the... Yes, And this is something you must keep in mind. May you find your kin at the end of that journey. Well then.
Huh?
Only for now. After all, I did take 500...
I'll race you there!
Oh, yes! Yes! The 7. Still. Oh, Traveler, it's you.
Huh?
Hello. We were just...
Yes.
But we recently received...
2 big time...
Yes.
Oh, Raptor! Paimon remembers he tried to run away from Amber and Mondstadt. But who is Big Sis of the South?
You already know something then. I guess you must have crossed paths with the treasure hoarders many times before. You were correct. Some say that the god...
Anyway, the treasure hoarders discovered some previously unexplored ruins that the Abyss... Despite how they have already...
To this end?
Grand...
Oh, indeed. The Grand Thief is highly respected in the treasure hoarders, in the same way that we adventurers look up... Ah, you met the living legend himself while you were in Mondstadt. Correct. So, despite being relative big-timers in Liyue...
With the major changes in Liyue recently, but anything related to the Abyss makes me feel like there is some unknown... So I decided to come to the Adventurers Guild to post a commission.
Leave...
Oh,
Good to see this in the hand...
Ad Astra...
I'll race you there.
Should I save this money or invest it?
Wow.
Try something new at the Wanmin restaurant.
Bet you can't keep up with me.
Hey, who's that skulking around?
All tasks have been handed out. As I gaze out upon the sea.
Core strength. No fighting instinct. Lily Lifford.
Hey, who's that skulking around?
All tasks have been handed out. How do I? As I gaze.
A copy of each invoice is sent to the Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Hello, Mr. Crossell. How's been?
Oh, good.
You're.
Miss Yanfei.
Wait, isn't
No, I'm not worried. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must... In return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus Jadeite is genuine.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear indeed.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us has retained an original copy of the contract.
In that case, might you know where Miss Chow lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpin.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down.
Thanks a lot, Mr.
My friend. I should open a store.
Leo Lee Pavilion. Best Lee food in town.
Whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me. Is there...
How do you do, Mr. Chow? We understand from Mr. Crossell that you recently rented a pair of hairpins from him. My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at...
The hairpins? I don't know how it could have happened. I spent so much money on them. My family is in the ore business too. But business has been suffering. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around. So we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle. That's what the hairpins were for, to keep up appearances. But now that I've lost the hairpins...
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of deja vu?
Would you really? I sent a
Hold on.
Huh? Well, I mean, sure, I have it right here.
Let me see. That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Juqiao somehow. True. Though surely there must be... Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crossell the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significant.
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Juqiao looks... However... all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpin. Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the Jadeite is... Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hair... Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the Jadeite is genuine, would there? See...
Please, don't trouble yourself. However much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants, after all. It's vital that we keep our work. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossell in the dark any longer. I'll go and inform him of the...
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. But before that, so hold on a moment, Mr. Chow. When you first touched the hairpin...
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were perfectly smooth to the touch. My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in this matter.
Smooth to the touch. Finest. No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossell.
Best Lee food in town.
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Jiqiao in tow, too, I see. How are the hairpins? You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Truly, I am. I'll pay the compensation.
Mora? Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my... I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that needs to be paid.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes. And if I may just confirm again, it was in fact genuine smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course. Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation. Please wait here, Miss...
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last mora that there...
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss. It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
Miss Yanfei, what is this about? Are you...
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hairpins may not be smaragd...
What do you mean? Are you implying...
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for a living. Let's just say I made some... I don't know if Granny told you this, but smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground and contains very concentrated elemental energy. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. It most certainly would not be smooth to the touch. Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time. Not even the slightest bit unwell. I didn't feel anything special at all, in fact.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossell's vicinity. If I have deduced correctly, he may still have the smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his dirty scam.
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to it. Eventually, he would find some argument to compel us to leave. And then, he'd throw the smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere in this world.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talking.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately, I have far more elegant solutions at my disposal. I'll share them with you in due course.
Well then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems like this, perhaps you could help me, Miss Yanfei.
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow, can I ask you to please sign this contract?
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? Paimon can't even keep track. It feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain someone else we know.
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands.
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now write your address here, and I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page. Finally, if you could just use this ink pad to make a handprint over here.
This contract has so many pages.
All right, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straightforward to resolve, once we've got some things squared away. I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite the experience.
Miss Yunfei, I have to ask, why are you helping me?
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite myself. I noticed strong traces of geoenergy around Mr. Crossel, so whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter. But either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? We might just be able to get our hands on some Smaragd. Also, the idea of someone abusing the... But again, let's not dwell on this. Ah, I've got it. If Mr. Crossel had his ore...
Why, hello there, honored... Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is rigged and no one can ever win?
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnine merchant named Crossel enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnine merchant named I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus Jadeite. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus Jadeite or not. But if a customer insists, far be it from me to contradict them. He was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a few loose shavings to study myself later.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a...
Try your luck betting on jade?
Huh? If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross-sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings. Yes, it's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. It's used to make jewelry all the time. I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus nephrite is an entirely ordinary ore, containing no elemental energy.
Is that so? Well, so did you find anything? So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao was able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards?
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these in my time. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the market price. And, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
All right, let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But, never mind, Shirto. Why would Mr. Cross...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's take some of these...
You're in for a little shock.
Miss Yenfei? Might I be so bold as to inquire,
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your store was in fact Smaragdus Jadeite, did he not?
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact,
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and the stone shavings?
Of course.
Oh, I have my reasons. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your store.
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again, Miss Yenfei, but...
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir. I'll take these with me.
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossell won't dare try to deny what he did.
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. We need to find something a little more compelling. If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Aha! Got it! Sinxie. She often helps people to find a jewelsmith. Let's go pay her.
Well, that was quick. How come you know so many people?
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. And contracts, well, I should say, but the amendments made by the Tianquan to our laws are unnecessarily complicated. How can I put this? It just seems like they're hard. As such, legal advisors like myself provide quite the popular service.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to understand and impossible to finish?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've memorized all the legal codices.
You memorized?
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advisor's bread and butter, you know? Oh, this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
Again with that casual
Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Sinxie.
Oh, Miss Yenfei, it's you.
Have no further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. Has a merchant by the name of Crossell asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Crossell. Yes, I remember him. He's a merchant from Snezhnaya, no? Yeah, he came to me with a chunk of something he called the design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Eventually, I found an older jewelsmith who made them exactly according to his specific. This order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite recently.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Sinxie, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossell commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not assert that the material he presented to you that day was called Smaragdus Jadeite?
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this transaction on record with the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Mr. Crossell wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the item is called Smaragdus Jadeite Twin Phoenix Pins. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry.
Thank you, Sinxie. Now, could you let me borrow this document?
Sure. It isn't serving much purpose here anyway.
Nothing you need to worry about. Just a minor issue. I'll return your document as soon as I'm done with it.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is in trouble?
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boo Boo Pharmacy to speak with Dr.
The weirdo with the snake around his neck?
Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus Jadeite is harmful to the... Once we have this final piece of evidence...
It won't get better if you don't take your medicine.
Please, show me your prescription. I can't read what this says.
My. To what do I owe the And if it isn't
No.
Smaragdus, the 7 mountain tree, it is abundant in... Anyway, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmaceutical peculiarities of Smaragdus Jadeite?
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind, Dr.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus Jadeite recently. A Snezhnayan merchant came to ask me about it not long ago. But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to, I wonder, Miss Yenfei, if your pressing business might be related to this Snezhnayan merchant?
You needn't concern...
You're too...
That Baiju guy is as weird as ever. Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
Dr. Baiju's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossell.
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust.
Yes. My investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount payable.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yanfei?
Of course. According Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss...
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus Jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus Nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article...
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot frame... I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus Jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce the evidence in question. This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus Jadeite and Smaragdus Nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite, he returned the valuable jadeite core to me, and some nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I missing exactly?
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about evidence, aren't we?
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like he came prepared. What should we do next?
Hard evidence. Something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, Traveler. Oh, come on. I meant the backup copy of the document from the Ministry of Civil Affairs. The one we got from Sinxi of Mingsing Jewelry.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it?
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting...
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal after all.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown supports my story.
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed to Traveler. Would you do the honors? This shall serve as decisive proof of our case.
What's the...
Smaragdus jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus jadeite? No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item, I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the Ministry of Civil. However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient, considering that, as you say, you were... Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence presented here will be handed over to the Ministry. I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigations.
What? Wait!
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear, Mr. Crossell.
Huh? No,
Aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Ms. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora? Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
Yep, he's seriously intimidating right now.
I admit it. I confess. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get... That's why I had another pair of hairpins made. I kept the real Smaragdus jade. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent...
Exactly!
I didn't want... If word got out...
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right...
10 times.
Crossell looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according...
20%? That's...
Even if the However, Mr.
What?
Miss Yunfei.
Well, that...
Thanks so much for your...
Oh, come on. Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has...
Is that...
Actually, I could see from the hair if we could join for...
Let me think for a moment.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus jadeite that grant...
Exactly.
The right solution the objective of my client, Mr. Chow, an adepta. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by the title of In any case, don't you think that the Liyue...
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely...
Well, since we got what we came...